Namaste. I am with the Honorable Vice President of Suriname, Ashwin Adhin ji. Namaskar to you.
Namaskar.
To a fellow Hindu from an amazing place. I have heard so much about your country. So, for my viewers around the world, it would be very nice to hear your Hindu story and the Hinduism in your country.
Okay. Now, Suriname is a country, of course, in South America. We are, most of the people, Suriname, you could say, is a small United Nations. They say, and you can say a multicultural, diverse country. We have Hindustani people there. We say Hindustani instead of Indian, but Hindustani people are there. You have the African community that has been there from slavery, brought there as slaves. We were brought there by indentured labor. We have the Javanese community from Indonesia that came all during the colonial period. So that was about 150 years ago, after the abolishment of the slavery. So after that, but the interesting thing of Suriname is that the conservation of the culture has been there. The language, if it is Bhojpuri, Maithili, Audhi, and Hindi.
Bhojpuri. Wow, this is good.
So this mix of the Bhojpuri, Maithili, and Audhi, which we call Suriname, is more of Bhojpuri. And everybody
so this is a very good time capsule, because in other places, including India, it has become too anglicized and not so protected.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want Bhojpuri and Audhi, you have to go to Suriname.
Yes.
That's
we have been back, and there are no Bhojpuri groups coming from India to Suriname, because they can see and they have affinity and say, this is one. That's interesting. We have a group here, a community that loves this kinds of music. So Suriname has that, and of course we are 21% of the community, so there's a large population, one of the largest
20+% are Hindus.
Yes, Hindus. So what you have is that in all sectors of life, even economy, politics, you have that the Hindus have gone forward and developed themselves in business, in NGO, in politics. Very good representation, but the most important for us is the dharma that we try to practice as a way of life, that is still there. This cultural preservation you won't see in, for example, our neighbor Guyana or in Trinidad. We pride ourselves on that. The fact that we have this Sanskriti issue and the Sabhyata is still there.
So, what is the secret for it? How did you do it?
I think that, of course, our forefathers have had a vision that at least the preservation of their culture was very important. I would not know if it had came that fiery attitude came from Bharat itself when they came, but that was a conviction for them as well. Politics also helped, because in politics they had a stance in 1975 when we became independent that we had to have a brotherly politics. So even when the Maroon groups in the past, it was more ethnic based, so the politics was more ethnic based, but these ethnic groups came together and said, no, we shouldn't fight together. We should be as brothers. And that political stance has kept this tranquility in the country, and the freedom. There have been propagators, pracharaks of this issue of unity and diversity. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti.
Right.
So this view, my own Aja, Ashwin Adhin, has always promoted this as a scholar, as an academic, put it into literature, like you write your literature as well, and we all get the chance to read it. And it has been taken over as something that is characteristic for the Surinamese society. There's Ekam Sat, that we respect all these cultures that they are there. And this stance is not only for the Hindu community. Even the Maroon community, Javanese can accept this stance. So these kinds of developments from academics, from politicians, from our own historic convictions have made that we could stay together in tranquility.
Wonderful.
And that is one of the characteristics of Suriname.
Yeah. So are the Hindu groups independent of the Hindu groups in India, or do you have Chinmaya Mission, Ramakrishna Mission? Do you have the Indian, spiritual Hindu groups setting up temples?
Yes.
Or is it both?
You have the Brahma Rishi Mission.
Okay.
We have the Gayatri Parivar. That was in the past. Now it's being revived there. We have, of course, ISKCON. ISKCON is there. So we have all the groups coming in and out. We have Indian investors and businessmen also in Suriname. So you have a lot of interaction. Of course, Bollywood is there, so everybody has the chance to see on TV. And the influence is also there. While we say we do cultural preservation for the managers, when we make Amaro, the difference would be that now in the whole hype and thing on series, they also innovate of how they get married. All this influence is there. But also the stream of people, of course, and Surinamese investors and people from Bharat come to Suriname. Surinamese go to Bharat also. If it be Kumbh Mela or if it be
wonderful.
All kinds of
So
activities.
we should see some Surinamese delegation in the 2019 February Kumbh Mela. I'm going to go there and
Yes.
I'm going to meet all these kind of people.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It will be great.
This is great. So what is for the benefit of, to educate our worldwide audience, what is the colonial history of Suriname in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, we would say that we are an English colony after that Dutch colony. And again, okay, there's a lot of switches, but the Dutch left in 1975.
So is the main difference between you and Guyana and other places that you got the independence from Dutch, they got it from British, and would you say that the Dutch were more multicultural, they allowed it to happen while the British were not? Could that be a reason that Suriname ended up more multicultural than Guyana?
Now the divide and rule was something characteristic for the colonial.
Even Dutch?
Even Dutch. But
okay.
Of course, I think like I said, the convictions, and they were spread. They were spread, the pockets of people, if it was Japanese, and we were all communities separate, held separately.
Oh, they kept them separate?
Kept them separately. Even within communities, too much family being together was not good for them. So you had to separate them.
So the same rule, the same game was played there also?
Same game. Okay, of course, this is history, but it is important to mention that too. So, and after that, and like I said, but from their own cultural experience and their conviction, they have kept these kind of ideas. Know that Sabhyata is needed, so Sanskriti should be there, and politics after 75 and 80 has played a big role. We had migrations from Suriname, for example, to the Netherlands, because the Dutch were so, the language is Dutch, still Dutch. So the
official language is Dutch?
Yes, it's Dutch.
So in schools they learn Dutch?
They learn Dutch, they learn English, they learn English, Spanish. We are in a Spanish continent. We have Brazil and Portuguese, but all the other countries are Spanish. So we have a lot of Spanish influence. The Caribbean, all the islands are English.
Right.
So we have the English influence, but we are a hub.
So you are more like Curacao?
We are not an
Dutch
island,
Antilles,
but
huh?
yes, but they have Dutch. Yes, Curacao is Dutch, Aruba is Dutch. There are still colonies, or let's say just a community. They call it a gemeente. But Suriname has that independence view, and it is like a connecting point because it can be a hub for the Caribbean.
Yes.
For South.
So what is the main economy? What does Suriname have that is economically making it viable?
Gold.
Gold.
Gold, oil, and we had bauxite, but bauxite industry has to start up again. And these commodities are of course, the commodities in the world that are really volatile at the moment. So we are looking at diversifying. We are in rice. We want to diversify through tourism, of course, to agriculture. We have water potential, very clean water, and also groundwater. So these are potential for the world. Everybody
yes,
wants
this is
water.
fantastic. This is fantastic.
Yes, yes.
So it has a good future, a good mix of DNA from important parts of the world, including Bharat.
Yes.
And brilliant people like you, we are very proud of. We are very, very proud of. So some of my work looks at forces that are trying to convert, either by degrading, criticizing, attacking Hindu Dharma, or by digesting and taking the good things and removing them from Dharma and putting them into some other framework, distorting. So is this problem also felt there?
So I think Suriname is unique. You see, when I was at my Nana's place, that's my grandfather
Yes.
from my mother's side.
Yes.
Muslim people we just came home like we were brothers and we were neighbors.
Yes,
It
very
is
good.
very unique for Suriname.
Yes.
To see that everybody lives brotherly and doesn't matter which religion you have and which culture you have. So Suriname has been deemed as a very good example of brotherly and mutual respect, country of mutual respect and mutual understanding. So we try to say always that this is an export product for us. Our peace is an export product because it is so unique. The forces that you normally see in the world, religiously divided, you won't see in Suriname.
So is it because, why didn't these divisive forces come to Suriname? Because they like to come.
Yes, I think the leaders within the religious communities were very well established and very well bound by friendship. I could, just like I said, my Nana also was Pandit, so they were all Pandits, but the Muslim community had the masjids near 100 meters there, but the Maulanas would come home, but with my Nana they would talk, and they were all buried, and everybody could come, and they were like family.
Yeah.
And Suriname is not a big community. Maybe that's also the difference. So for such a small community, you can have this intermingling, and you can have this understanding that you can create in order to be cooperate on every level, be it in government and business. Everywhere you see a reflection of the community within management, within government, within NGOs. So that is we say it is unique. It is an export product. It is an example for the world.
So one of the remarkable things is the religious leaders in Suriname did not sell out to foreign pressure, foreign offers, money. See, this is the problem. In many countries it was similar. But you know, some places there's a huge amount of Arab funding and taking over mosques and setting up madrasas and Christian evangelists coming. So the clash came from foreign places, and they made enough money offers that the local leaders sold out. And so over the period of one generation, then they are singing to the dance of, it's almost like colonization, you know, religious colonization.
Yes.
In many places. I mean, if you look at some of the extreme groups, they are colonized local sepoys fighting for some headquarters somewhere else.
No, it's
so
very
the Suriname,
true. It's
lucky.
very true. I think what you're saying is that that we see in the different part of the world, and it is something that we are alert of. Even in the CARICOM, in the Caribbean, very we try to be very secure when it comes to these issues, terrorism, and see where for our extreme groups of extreme thinking, extremist thinking people. Even when our Muslim communities try to bring people, we always tend to talk and say, okay, but are these not too extreme sentiments to bring here? And because we want to keep it the way it is, that there's always respect from our constitution, that is, from our constitution, respect for different cultures, everything is settled in our constitution. So we want to keep it that way, and we have to be aware. And in our policies, of course, when we do our bilateral and multilateral discussions in CARICOM, in the UNASUR and CELAC, we also, on these platforms, we always say that it has to take heed and have to be this security issue. Cross-border crime, cross-border terrorism is a thing of that we will look very minute at. Yes.
So you've been able to get loyalty, patriotism, Swadeshi, brotherhood among your people.
So there is brotherhood, but let me just not to interrupt you. There is brotherhood, but we are a very young nation. So we say we can live with each other, but we can live together, but we will have to live with each other. There has to be no more nationalism, because what you have, although we have a tranquil community, we still want to have a vision for the future. In our civil, what we say, in our citizenship, we've tried to find the binding factor. So we have to put a vision and a mission for the future to work towards development. That is not only enough to say we live tranquil with each other and with everybody, that respect is there, mutual, but the cooperative basis to go forward for development still has to be developed and more nationalism, more nationalism based on our citizenship that binds us. The uniqueness that we have can be a characteristic.
Yes, that's very good.
But upon this characteristic should be also efficient to develop further without being clashing with each other.
Right. So you want the tradition of this multiculturalism, which is very dharma, it's a dharma quality. Yes. You want to make it the foundation for economic prosperity and development.
Yes, we want to use it for tourism, for example.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
Let people come and say. So we say, okay, let's conserve it in order to develop. Let us not develop and throw it away.
Right.
Let's use it for tourism. Let's use it for all kinds of.
So tradition and modernity are united. It's not tradition versus modernity.
And that will be the unique development path that we want to develop.
Wonderful.
Can you exploit your uniqueness to
Yes.
develop? That is the question.
That's
And
beautiful. Because one of our mottos for our foundation is mutual respect for difference.
Yes.
So we celebrate our distinctiveness as our advantage. We respect other people who are different, and we want them to respect us. If there's mutual respect, which is a lot better than just tolerance.
That is a Surinamese aspect, and I think when people say Suriname, they know this is the quality that the Surinamese has. We respect each other, we respect the Suriname, that is an export product, it's a branding of Suriname. We want to make it a nationalistic, that's the thing. Can we make it a nationalistic quality to get the pride to go forward in development?
Build the nation on that.
Yes, the nation
So the
building.
Surinamese grand narrative, if I may, is built on this idea of diversity for future prosperity and development. I want to gift you some of my books. This is a book called Being Different, and its thesis is how Bharatiya culture and Hindu culture is different in a positive way, and we respect other cultures while we are different.
Very nice.
The whole book is on that.
Very nice.
So this is also a book on the Indra's net, which is a metaphor from the Vedas, and a critique of colonial distortion. Colonial distortion.
You have done very much research.
Yeah, much research. This is how the study of Sanskrit by the Europeans and Western Indologists was biased. They took Sanskrit and they made different interpretations, distorted them, and how we are responding back to that.
Okay,
so this is that. And this is several universities in the United States. We have called them Hindu phobia because they're making fun of Hindu gods, and they're making fun of Ganesh, and they trivialize our rituals. So this is a battle going on in American campuses and in European campuses, and a lot of Hindu students that are working with us to respond. So luckily Suriname has not been affected by that.
No.
And this is a book that has become very popular, Breaking India, because there's a lot of foreign nexuses, some bringing in Islamic terrorism, some bringing in too much conversion, some bringing in Maoism and Marxism to create little insurrections. And this has exposed that, and now people in India are taking it very seriously. So this is my gift.
So I have to thank you for your contribution. I think that you have done very good work. If I see the titles only, I can, because these things are these things are the crux of the matters and the problems
Yes,
that we see.
yes.
I think Hindu Sabhyata should be very proud of
Well,
you.
it is my yagna and my dharma, and I encourage others to join, and lots of people, millions of them are joining. So we are now taking this knowledge to the next generation, more and more scholars coming. We have a very successful channel which brings videos like this interview, and more awareness is being spread. So it's wonderful to see a fellow Hindu in such high office in an important country, Suriname. It's a pleasure. It was a delight to hear you here, and continue the good work you're doing, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you very much, and I want to show my respects also to you for your contribution, and I think that you should, the work that you are doing is great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Namaste. Dhanyawad.